Penguin Random House Audio presents The Dream Peddler by Martine Fournier Watson. Read for you by Saskia Maarleveld. To my mother and father, who gave me everything. I've dreamt in my life dreams that have stayed with me ever after and changed my ideas. They've gone through and through me like wine through water, and altered the color of my mind. Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights. What do ye lack? What do ye lack? A dream of success, a dream of adventure, a dream of the sea, a dream of the woodland, any kind of a dream you want at reasonable prices, including one or two unique little nightmares. What will you give me for a dream? L. M. Montgomery, Emily Climbs. Prologue. The light of the gold harvest moon woke Benjamin Dawson from his dream. He sat up in bed, and through the window he saw that moon, larger than any he had ever known before. How did it grow so close out of the black night loam? He could tell by the thickness of the quiet that he was the only one awake in his house, maybe in the whole town. The blanket his body had warmed in the night was still gathered around his legs like a dozing animal. Every moment the sky was lightening toward its dawn, and he wanted to go outside and see that moon before it set. It seemed to be hovering just beyond the winter trees, as though anyone who made it through to the other side of the woods and the edge of the bay would stumble upon some monstrous glory, like the discoverer of a continent. At 9 years old, Benjamin knew he could never reach the moon, yet still he had an urge to confront this one, with nothing between the two of them but the stinging, star-speckled air. He slipped out of bed and pulled off his nightshirt, lifting the clothes he had dropped onto his little wooden chair the night before. The clothes were cold, and he shivered into them. He crept down the stairs and tugged on the black clots of his boots, pulled his thick brown wool coat over himself, and grabbed his cap from the high shelf. The front door was stiff, but silent. Chapter 1. The Dream Peddler came to town at the white end of winter, before the thaw. He had no horse or motor car, but a low wagon harnessed to himself that he pulled along. He whistled as it bumped over the road behind him, while ahead the wind sifted off the surface of snow and hissed away. His covered jars and bottles tinkled occasionally in their nests. He winced up into the brightness of the sky, where the split, frayed ends of treetops swept at the clouds. His gloved hands tucked into the harness ropes crossed over his chest. His fast breath wraithed the air before his face and vanished. The steps of his long walk shook the past from his mind and fragmented all the faces of the place he had left. He let them be blurred by the blowing snow. As the brittle day began to soften, he stopped at the side of the road, lifted a small bottle from his coat, and imagined the kindling warmth of the drink inside. He gave it a squeeze, but slipped it back into his pocket untasted. The blank spread of farmland surrounded him now, but those houses were all set too far back from the road. He was looking for the homes of the merchants, where town lives bunched together like linen gathering along a pulled seam. As the road turned away from the sun, he came to a yellow-painted house that seemed a good prospect. 2 children in winter coats were eating snow off their mittens in the little front yard. They stared him down as he turned into the gate. He looked at them and raised his eyebrows as if to ask, "May I?" But they only gazed mutely, the melting snow dripping down their reddened chins. They watched him enter their yard, openly wary, while curiosity held them still. He climbed the few steps up to the porch and gave 3 sharp raps on the door. Loud enough, confident, not too insistent. Then he waited. The door swung open on a woman of medium height, whose small brown eyes shrank smaller against the light. Her clothing was old but clean, and a faded apron over her house dress told him he had interrupted the flurry of morning chores.
"I'm sorry to disturb you, ma'am."
"Who are you?"
"Robert Owens."
He touched his hat.
"Do please call me Robbie."
Her lips pursed at him, as if to indicate that the word Robbie would never cross them. She scanned his person, and then her glance went behind him to the two frozen children staring open-mouthed at their own door. Then it went beyond, to the cart he had left outside the gate. "I'm Abigail Schumann," she told him, not in a friendly way, but as though she felt obliged to trade this information.
"Very nice to meet you, Mrs. Schumann. I can see you're in the middle of some work here, so I won't take up your time. I'm new to town today, and I wondered if I might inquire about a place to stay. An inn, perhaps a boarding house."
In the gloom behind her, he discerned the outline of an elderly man sitting by a window, as if he'd been placed there to catch the light, the round of his shoulders dusted white with it. The left side of the man's face hung slack from its bones, and when his eyes met Robert's, he opened only the right side of his mouth. A faint, guttural sound tried to reach them at the doorway. Mrs. Schumann waved the children back to their play, but the children stuck. "Well, Mr. Owens, I'm not sure what to tell you. We don't get many visitors who don't already have a family to stay with. You looking for work?"
"Oh, no, ma'am. Not in need of any work. I make my own living and carry it with me. It's all there in the wagon, you see."
As the wagon was covered over with a thick tarp, she folded her arms across her chest. "No, I don't see." Robert smiled at her but said nothing. Behind her, the old man's mouth was still straining, right side hauling on the dead weight of the left, as if trying to save it from quicksand. "You a salesman of some kind?"
"Of some kind, yes."
"And what would you be selling?"
"Well, ma'am—"
He scratched his chin, as though there had been a beard there not long ago.
"I'd rather not say just yet, if it's all the same to you. My product is very special, you see, and it needs to be presented in the right way. It's not as simple as soaps or silks or things of that nature, you see."
She huffed. If she was curious, she was not going to let him see that. Instead, she pointed a cracked fingertip down the road. "Keep going until you come to a big brown house with yellow shutters. That'll be Violet Burnley's place. She's alone there since her brother died, and sometimes she'll take in a boarder. Had as many as 3 last summer when the extra farm help came through. If she says no, you'll probably have to move along." He touched the peak of his cap again.
"Thank you. I greatly appreciate it."
He retreated carefully down the porch steps, as if bowing from the presence of a monarch. Only at the bottom did he turn before walking back toward the children. He knelt on the snow in front of them and wiggled a hand into one of his pockets. Like animals hoping for food, they inched closer.
"For you,"
he told them, and held out 2 small polished stones in the leather cup of his glove. They were blackish blue as night water, flecked with mottles of gold like some people's eyes.
"Put these under your pillows tonight," he whispered to the children, "and you will have marvelous dreams."
One at a time, they reached into the stiff palm and picked out their treasure. "Mine is bigger than yours," the small one said. "Stop talking big," his older brother told him, "or the old witch Whiting will come and get you." Smiling, Robert eased himself up, patted their shoulders one at a time, and continued on toward the road. They stared after him a moment before turning back to their mother. "Can't we come in now?" he heard one of them whining behind him. "I'm so hungry for dinner, my tummy is rumbling." The dream peddler passed back through the gate and bent to pick up the wagon harness. As he was fitting it over his shoulders, Mrs. Schumann clucked her tongue, handed a cookie to each of her children, and sent them away with a smack. "Odder than a 3-legged duck," she muttered to herself, as she went back and...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?